On this show, we cover some sensitive topics.
Though the obituaries may be outlandish, the people are real.
Names have been changed or omitted in order to respect both the deceased and the survived by.
While death is no laughing matter, some petty last words can provide some pretty entertaining comic relief.
Welcome to Obituary. Welcome back to Obituary. I'm Spencer Henry.
And I'm Madison Reyes.
And boy, are we happy to be here.
Oh my gosh, happy to be home, but also sad to have left Oklahoma.
We're fresh out of the loony bin. It was such an incredible show. I feel like it was just so much fun.
It really was. I thought that the vibes were immaculate, okay? Everybody was so fun and nice. We loved the loony bin. I loved our show.
The crowd was giving Chicago.
The crowd was giving Chicago. All 50,000 of them.
You know what? 75.
Oh, is that the final numbers?
Yeah, it was the biggest live show that Tulsa had ever seen before.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
We did have a good turnout at the loony bin, actually.
We did. It was crowded, full club.
Oh, sure was. And not only that, it was packed in the beginning in that little area at the front, and they didn't have a restroom inside of the green room. And so we did just walk out randomly to go pee.
I know. I already get a little pee shy in public. Like, damn, I'm just peeing.
Don't look at me, please.
Don't listen to me. What if I make a weird noise or, Oh, and we wore straight jackets.
We did. And we had gone to this little Halloween store. Well, not little, this big Halloween store next to the venue. And they had... Well, first of all, we had no idea where we were going. We got into our Uber from the hotel, and we were just going so far away from, like, downtown Tulsa. And we're like, where are we actually going? And we ended up in this parking lot. We're like, well, there is a Halloween store here. So we went inside. We met a fabulous balloon artist.
Neil the Balloon Man. Shout out.
Shout out to Neil the Balloon Man. If you're ever near the loony bin in Tulsa, Oklahoma, guess what? That's a year-round Halloween store for you.
They have like a magic venue inside of the store too. I wish we had a store like that here. Like, I feel like we have like Spirit Halloweens and
Girl,
shit. But...
you're out of your fucking mind. Burbank has Halloween Town.
Oh,
it has
duh.
a full street of Halloween stores.
You're right.
So how about you educate yourself? Because
I'm
right. Exhausted.
He's exhausted.
I'm exhausted. Wait, before I forget, we haven't talked about it on the show yet. We started a book club, Geoffs.
Woo!
And we're your sexy librarians.
Ooh, but we do have the camera off right now.
Yes, so
For
you just have
reason.
to picture... The glow up has been insane since you've last seen us on video.
Go look at our Instagram, not at any tagged photos. You look at the ones we post that are heavily filtered.
Only the ones we post.
Okay, look at that and picture us in glasses at the library.
Our tits are out.
Oh my God, huge.
We are in little plaid ensembles.
We're pushing little library cards.
Horned glasses, like vintage horned glasses.
There's a whip. I don't know.
Oh, we started the book club though, and it's on Patreon, patreon.com/cultleader. We are feeling like this. We're feeling our divine purpose for Patreon because this is something that we always wanted to do since the beginning of Patreon was have a book club. And so that has finally come to fruition. And so I'll tell you this, our first book is Psycho, and we posted about it. So sorry if you don't follow us on Instagram, you're missing out, but that we are going to be hosting the book club for that on a live stream on October 30th. And you can find out all about it by joining the Patreon, patreon.com/cultleader. And all of the information that you need is there. Psycho was our first pick which felt appropriate because it's October and with the new Ed Gein series and all of that. It just felt right, but we already have our next pick in store.
We do. And you know what, you guys? If you're listening to this and you're like, damn, I want to join the book club, but I don't know if I'll have time to read Psycho in time. Get it, read it. You can read it in a day. Or I see a lot of people on Patreon that are doing Audible, which, you know what, we will allow.
I like an Audible sometimes. Like if I'm driving, especially if I have a long drive, sometimes I'll listen to Audible.
Or cleaning or anything.
Yeah, it is nice when you're just doing stuff around the house. I love a physical book though, because I like to be like, yeah, I read that.
I'll still say I read it if I listen to all.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Well, that's a huge debate in like book talk in the book world that I've seen floated around before of like, does it count? And I'm like, it counts.
It counts. Come on. Stop being so precious about everything you say.
Some people also like have like probably get headaches if they read to it, or probably have certain conditions where they need. What about people who are visually impaired?
Visually impaired, yeah.
Ever think about that?
Yeah. So there you have it. Yeah. If somebody says, hey, I read your book, I love it, and I found out that they listened to the audiobook version,
I would grab them by their head and smash them.
Bash it.
Like a fucking pumpkin.
I would be like, oh my God, thank you. Yeah, you did read it. Like, you read it with your ears.
Oh my gosh. Recording that audiobook was so fun. I still wish we could have gotten our hands on the director's cut from it because it would have been hilarious.
Oh my God. It would have been 200 hours long.
They should have left it in.
They or made like a gag reel.
God, I wish they would have done that. But we did also buy the book at Magic City Books in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I want to say this too. If you're joining our book club, obviously do whatever is accessible to you. But if you can support your local bookstore, highly recommend, because they're incredible and they always need our support.
You're right. We bought the second book that we're going to talk about for next week at Magic City. We bought Psycho in Nashville.
Oh, at the bookshop.
At the bookshop.
Yes. Okay. So we've been we're actually just supporting the book economy.
I know. I really love that for us.
Me too.
Because you know what? The book economy supported us.
Truly.
And look at us now. New York Times bestsellers.
Oh, gotta throw it in every time we talk about a
Duh.
book, baby.
Are you kidding me?
Honestly, you don't need to put anything else on my obituary.
Truly.
Just put that in there.
When we die, do you think the New York Times would write something about us?
No.
Okay.
I think maybe if...
It was worth a shot.
If something horrific happened to us, I think that we would maybe get a
E-News. No.
I don't know. The Sun, maybe, or TMZ.
Probably not any of them. It's fine. Fine.
I'm saying if something crazy happened, because I feel like it'd be podcaster who talks about death got decapitated by her poodle. I feel like that would make it in.
I want to be a hero though.
Oh. I need a hero.
If I go, I want to save, I don't know, children or animals from harm.
Stop eating them.
Ah! Not children. Okay.
I'm talking about the kids. You and I also both went to concerts this past weekend.
Oh my gosh, yes. I went to Chapel Roan and you went to Tyler Childers.
I did, and it was so much fun. And I didn't even fucking know. I don't know how I didn't know, but I didn't know up until right before that Charlie Crockett was opening for him. And he is my style icon.
Yeah. Love him. Love his big old teeth.
Big old fucking teeth. He's one of my celebrity crushes. I will say him, along with also big teeth, is Walton Goggins.
Oh, of course.
He's just got, I don't know if that's crush or just someone that I'm cool. I want to emulate his style. I don't know. Who's your celebrity crush, actually? I feel like that is one thing that I maybe don't even know about you.
I don't even know. It always changes. Right now, it's Charlie Hunnam, and I don't even care if he has that little voice.
Mother. Can I wear your bra? You'd love it. You'd give him your bra.
Oh, I loved him even more in the lingerie. I'm telling you. He just did it for me. Then there was a long period of Pedro Pascal, Leonardo DiCaprio, always. I just think he's like classic.
I met him once and he is handsome.
Handsome.
And mysterious.
Oh, mysterious?
Jake Gyllenhaal's been my longest running. Like, he's always just been, like, since Donnie Darko days, probably been, like, my crush.
Really? And he's really tall, right?
I don't know. I think so. But I just have always found him. I think because he just looks sleepy. Like, I don't know. He just got that sleepy look to him.
Okay. Yeah, it always changes. I'm even having a crush on that Dodger Otani Shohei. He's hot.
What about girl crush?
Oh. I mean, after seeing Chapel Roan live, she's beautiful and so talented. But like hot girl, hell yeah. It has to be a bimbo.
She's not giving bimbo.
She's not. No, I know. God,
because you'd be a stud. Imagine you just have a little crew cut on the next show. You got a fade. If this episode gets 1 million downloads, Madison will get a fade.
Girl, I'm going to fuck you up.
1 million downloads and she's getting a fade.
I'm not doing it.
No, because you could just wear wigs. 1 million downloads, bitch. That would help us so much.
And what the fuck are you going to do?
Girl.
What are you going to do?
I'm posting whole. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
I'm not. I think my girl crush would be Dakota Johnson.
Oh, okay. I mean, she's so pretty and love her Hollywood lineage.
I feel like she's funny.
She's not giving like, I need like a sex bomb. Like,
ooh.
You know what I mean? I need Pamela Anderson in her. I am a misogynist. So I need big tits and blonde.
Who are like the hot girls? Right?
Oh, Sydney Sweeney, but we don't like her anymore. In Euphoria, hot.
Okay, so Madison likes teenage girls. You heard it here.
No!
You heard it here. Put that on TMZ. Maybe the New York Times will report on this. No, she was probably like 20 when she did that show anyway.
Still too
I never
young.
watched Euphoria.
You are an idiot. You need to watch it. It is so good. Cisco cried. He has the taste of a very gay man.
No, like a teenage girl taste. That's probably why you like him. I just remember one time he picked us up from the airport and he was in just a mood. He did not want to be picking us up from the airport. I think it was like
moody.
He picked us up. He played Ice Spice. It was just like blasting it, not wanting to talk to us. I bet Chapel Roan was really fun though.
Oh my God, it was a blast. Like, her whole set was like this big, creepy castle, and she just looked phenomenal. She sounded phenomenal. She fucking sang Barracuda.
Oh, that's...
And it was...
You know who does a good cover, though? Gretchen Wilson.
Oh, that country singer. Yeah.
Gretchen Wilson does a sick cover of Barracuda. Do you feel like you knew more songs than you thought you would?
Yeah, I mean, when that album came out, it was on like 24/7 in our house.
Okay. We just got scored tickets, thanks to our friend Alyssa, to go see No Doubt at the Sphere.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to go to the Sphere.
Oh my God,
you were
yeah.
there.
But not as a concert. I feel like it's going to be so fucking fun.
I know. I'm like, should I take mushrooms or something? Like...
Oh, well, we were talking about it. We're like, we're going to be in Vegas anyways. We should try and do a live show when we're out there. So if you have any recommendations for like cool little venues in Vegas, send them our way. Or if you work for a venue in Vegas or, oh, honey, put us at the Sphere.
Well, I was going to say the Sphere's taken. So
Too small.
Too small. We need the new Raiders stadium.
Yeah, we'll just do it there. No, but I would love for us to do a live show there. I think it'd be really fun.
I think it would be so fun. I feel like Vegas would be wild. Wild, girl. Well, enough chatting. Let's get down to business.
Let's get down to business, babe. I've got some assholes for us.
Okay.
And this person wants to know, am I the asshole for accusing our dad of not loving us?
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
My 26-year-old male mom was amazing, sweet yet firm, a total rock star. My dad, on the other hand, treated us like burdens. Every year on our birthdays, saying, only this many more years till you're 18 and you're out of my house. He always said it in a joking way, but even from a young age, my brothers and I knew he was not joking. That's... pressure.
It's brutal.
Unfortunately, our mom died when we were teens. God, that's fucking so sad. The comments ramped up at that point, and sure enough, my oldest brother turned 18. He was gifted a 2-week eviction notice.
Fuck.
That's crazy, actually.
That's not nice.
As he's a few years older than my other brother and I, we were able to prepare a little more, so we weren't totally blindsided at 18. We had always figured we'd have to move out after graduation, but hadn't foreseen he truly meant right after we turned 18. Even though all of us have fall or winter birthdays, so we were still in high school for several months after. We just accepted it as reality. Kicking your kid out while they're still in high school is actually so fucking crazy.
That's crazy.
Already, I know you're not the asshole.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's hear him out. He said, I'm the youngest, and when I turned 17, my dad got a calendar and began marking the days until I turned 18. It was a daily countdown where he'd mark the days off.
That's so mean.
It's mean. My brothers and I didn't talk to our dad for a while after moving out, but eventually my eldest brother's wife had a baby and my dad started showing up again. He is arguably a better grandfather than he ever was a dad, so when I became a dad 5 years ago, I allowed him around my child. Though I admit becoming a dad myself made me realize how wrong my dad was. I love my little girl so much. Sure, fatherhood is not easy, but I am certainly not counting down the days until she's 18. If she wants, she could live with me forever. I find myself actually sad at how fast the time is going. I entered fatherhood unplanned and actually do 90% of it on my own as her mom is barely around. Long story, but I still wouldn't change a thing. Last month, my daughter started kindergarten. She is very independent and just walked on in, no issues. I held it together, but I admit I broke down crying when I got back to my car because she's just growing up so damn fast. Who could blame you? Ugh. Like when I think of like hot dog going to kindergarten.
I know. I know. I think about the dogs. I'm like, what?
When she starts preschool, we fucked up. I work at my eldest brother's restaurant and showed up for my shift a hot mess. He was comforting me as he's been there with his own kids. Our dad stopped by for breakfast and asked what was wrong. He laughed when we explained and said I was too damn soft. I said it must be foreign to him to see what a loving father is actually like. Damn.
Burned.
This pissed our dad off and he started arguing with me, saying it was disgusting I accused him of not loving us. He kept saying he was from a different time. While my eldest brother doesn't take issue with what I said, my second eldest brother told me I was wrong to accuse him of not loving us and said it puts words in his mouth. He also said it was just starting shit as my dad has gotten better and has been trying. It's been a month since the incident and my dad refuses to see my daughter since I said this, and she says she misses her grandpa. It left me wondering if I'm the asshole.
No, you're not the asshole at all. Your dad is the asshole. And you know what? It shows how much he hasn't grown if he can't take that and like actually take it to heart and be like, wow, that's really how you feel. Instead, he... Defensive, and it only affects your daughter.
Well, and saying that it's been a month since the incident, my dad refuses to see my daughter.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's exactly where he was when he was being the not loving father that you needed.
Yeah.
Not the asshole, but I will say, obviously, the dad who knows his life story, right? He probably did come from a time where men, especially, were not like as expressive with their love or, you know, didn't know how to show love because maybe they weren't shown how to show love. And you can have empathy for him. And if he is showing up and being a grandpa, sometimes you just have to take people as they are if you want to have that relationship and be like, this is my dad. He is how he is. He's been that way forever. But if it's causing toxicity, obviously not. But I feel like it's not irreparable. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, yeah, you just gotta, like, you can't change people. You can just change your expectations of people.
Truly.
All right. This next one says, am I the asshole for not caring or saying that my apartment is haunted to a new roommate?
Okay.
I thought this would be a fun one for October.
Spooky.
Spooky-ooky. It says, oh boy, where do I even begin with this one? First of all, this post isn't about the science or lack thereof, what the paranormal is or isn't. I want to be somewhat distanced from that. I've lived here for about 2 years, and one night on my second month, when I was about to enter into sleep on the couch, I heard what sounded like a mechanical tune from a children's toy chest for like 4 to 5 seconds. A Jack in the Box would be a fair clear explanation. I was half asleep and just attributed it to a dream-induced auditory hallucination or sound from the TV. It occurred again another night, which got me interested. I wondered if something was coming from the outside since a window was ajar. Maybe another apartment, but I don't hear any other external sounds in this thick, old concrete block. Not a peep. The third time around, I froze my steps and the top of my mind went to echoes from the past. I mean, this shit is fucking cool and sort of sweet. I can't characterize it very well. It's tinny, but sounds like it's neither near nor far. It sounds like it's on the floor under a thick blanket, like an ice cream truck is around the corner or something, and occurs about once every other week. For me, it's just like, well, I guess that happened type thing. Was I supposed to be freaked out or something? There's also a few other sounds, like a split-second sound of a drawer or cabinet type thudding. Can't really say I care much. Sometimes I don't even remember until I'm reminded of it. I decided to reduce cost by getting a roommate a few months ago. I met someone for coffee, hit it off, no apparent issue as far as the ability to pay or owning too much stuff, no pets, agreeable demeanor, etc. Move-in day was a breeze, but as it turns out, well, let's just say some people are more sensitive than others. I received a call one evening and she was hysterical and had barricaded herself in her room. I rushed home and she said she was in the kitchen minding her own business when all of a sudden she was startled by what sounded like thudding, which of course was followed by a silly toy sound playing. The immediate impression was that of an intruder and she panicked and ran to her room. Her anxiety was so bad I had to take her out to a bar to have some beers to take the edge off. I apologized that I didn't tell her about it. I mean, it slipped my mind, really, but did I have to apologize? I informed her she's free to leave without paying or accept some lowered rent, but she just kept looking at me like I'm some asshole running a house of horrors while I just was shrugging and downing Coors banquets. Am I the asshole?
No, I don't think you're the asshole. I also don't think legally you have to disclose anything like that, like only a murder. And those kinds of things, like, she might have looked at you like, what are you talking about? That the house is haunted? Like, not everybody believes in that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like, if anything, like, you could have, like, kind of joked it off, but everywhere is fucking haunted. Sorry, the older we get to, everything's haunted. Everywhere's haunted.
Yeah.
It's the land, honey. It's the land.
It's the land.
So you can't help it. No. I wouldn't say anything. And I would not have even offered lowered rent. I'd be like, yeah, girl, it's a ghost, but it's fine.
Get over it.
Get over it.
Grow up. You're going to be there one day. So
yeah,
respect them.
We all die, babe.
We all do. We all turn into ghosts.
Maybe, what if the ghost is hot? You don't even know.
What if he wants to have sex? So, you know what? It could be a good thing.
Yeah. Maybe you're blocking yourself from finding true love.
Yeah, you need to come from a place of yes, always.
And you need to come.
Yes. Ooh, I have a listener email that has to do with silky undies, so maybe we should transition into that.
Let's do it.
Alrighty. This says, hello, spooky bitches and all the little furry babies. Longtime listener, Cult Babe, and OG Geoff. I have wanted to write in for a long time because my crazy life is very fitting for the show, and thought no time was better than now that you're coming to Oklahoma. My wife and I adore you guys and love that you open more conversations about death and the death care industry with such grace, honesty, and also showing that there's sometimes some humor in it. Thank you for saying that. You're probably wondering what the title means, so let's just get straight into it. And the title was Silky Undies and Getting Stuck in the Body Cooler.
That'll get her going.
Oh, yeah. My name is Nicole. I'm 24 and have been born and raised in the death care industry. Literally. Our primary family car growing up was the transport/flower van.
Oh my God, I love that. It's like my girl.
I totally. This absolute crap wagon had no seats in the back, barely any air conditioner. And yes, I did in fact have to drive from places with a body on a cot in the back with me just chilling.
Wait, I love that. Was it just like, your dad's going to come pick you up from school, but he has a pickup first?
Yeah, totally. I'm sure it was.
Cool.
Seatbelts? We don't know her. Pillows, blankets, and prayers kept me safe. Enough with that trauma. My family has owned and operated a small town funeral home since the 90s in Oklahoma. So we are very excited to see you guys at the Looney Bin in Tulsa.
Wait, were they the ones in the back who work at that funeral home?
I don't think so, because I don't think they work in the death industry anymore. I'm not sure.
Okay.
With that comes a lot of heartbreaking, profound, and sometimes very goofy moments. For instance, the one single moment in my father's 40-year-long embalmer/funeral director career that no one will ever let him live down. Oh, no. This particular funeral was a very important person in the church my parents attended, so there were at least over 200 people in attendance. It happened to fall on Valentine's Day, which is weirdly my birthday. The funeral was going to plan. My dad went up to the pulpit to say some final words. Then, suddenly, his pants dropped to his ankles. Wait, get this. Revealing the silky, hot, pink boxers with hearts and kisses that my lovely mother gifted me that morning. Dad, it was Valentine's Day.
Oh my God, wait, I fucking love this.
I love that so much. And good for your mom for giving him underwear. I love that.
That's
for Valentine's
cute.
Day. And that he wore them.
Yes, that's a man.
That's a man, honey. Everyone in the room was silently chuckling, trying to hold back laughter. Then in the back of the room, there was a 5-year-old me that just burst out into the loudest cackle. My dad swiftly went into prayer and pulled his pants up. Damn. The poor guy is severely lacking in the junk in the trunk department. Now he only wears suspenders. Now, my wife and I help run the business after having to move back to our small town so she can finish her nursing degree because unfortunately, as fulfilling and hard as the death care industry is, oftentimes you are overworked and underpaid for the job and trauma you are experiencing. It is a passion job for sure. She is a licensed mortician and I manage the office and help with everything on top of being a full-time esthetician. Before we moved back while she was attending mortuary school, she worked as an embalmer's apprentice at the busiest mortuary in the state. If a person went to the ME, had gone under organ donation, or really any funeral home in the area, they passed through this mortuary. In the 3 years of her working there, she probably worked on over 2,000 cases, give or take. Damn. I have seen too much. My dad has seen some horrific cases in his time, but very spaced out. She would see a 10 in my dad's eyes on the daily, even multiple times a day if it was one of those days. Unfortunately, they make the apprentices do all the grunt work, and most of the embalming's under a licensed embalmer, of course. One day, they were slow and had no preps, so the embalmer sent my wife to the large body cooler to fix a light and look at a pipe that might be leaking. This cooler was at capacity, which was around 100 decedents packed in. Damn. This also was the cooler that they put all of the bad cases that can't be embalmed that will eventually be cremated. So great start, dim flickering lights with some of the worst cases you can imagine, so packed in that you have to squeeze through the sea of people on cots and shelves. Nightmare fuel. She finds the pipe. Just her luck is on the top of a full double shelf that she has to climb over. As she was trying to patch the issue, the heavy cooler door slams shut. This is very weird because the door is not meant to close on its own. It is a heavy, very wide door that takes effort to open and close. She obviously freaks out and tries to open it. She's banging on the door trying to get someone's attention. Little did she know the only other coworker that was there besides the embalmer was out on a call. The embalmer was asleep on the couch since he was on his 24-hour shift. She ended up being stuck in there alone for an hour with just her thoughts and her 100 chilling friends and no phone.
God.
After what felt like eternity and nearly freezing to death, her coworker finally got back from the call to put someone in the cooler to free her. When she got out, her embalmer was still asleep. A year later, we still don't have an explanation of how the door shut. spooky stuff. I'm not trying to make this very long, but I wanted to give you a goofy and spooky tale of our crazy lives. We have a million different stories of our collective time in the death care industry, even some paranormal ones, of course, or even how a spirit guide literally saved my life one time. If these tickled your fancy, I can write in again if you would like that. We love. Please. Thank you for always being the people we always look forward to listening to in the prep room. Keep being you, and thank you for coming to Oklahoma. No one cool barely comes here. Shit, I barely want to be here. P.S. I don't know if you know this, but Oklahoma is the Wild West for the death care industry. We allow a lot here, like getting your remains cleaned with bugs and turning your head into a lamp. That literally happened twice while Faye worked at the mortuary. Some oaky fun facts for you.
Oh my God, I love that.
See ya on October 8th. With love, Nicole and Faye. Hopefully this was readable. We are 50th in education after all. Attached is Faye and I and our fur babies, Morris and Louise. Oh
my God, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for coming to our show. I wish we would have gotten to talk with you in person.
We love you. I know.
That is incredible, and honestly one of my favorite stories that we've ever gotten, and I really hope you're listening to this in the prep room.
I do too, and please write in some more. You write really great stories, and your life seems insane, and I love it.
It's so good. All right, well, girly, you are up first this week.
Which means you should have a little side bitch.
Oh, is that what it means now?
That's what it means now.
Whatever they're on about this time. I do. I love her because we've got, well, you'll see. This is from the Modesto Morning Herald from Saturday, June 17th, 1922. And it says, New York, June 16th. An hour after she had been prepared for burial today, Mrs. Rebecca Semps sat up in her coffin.
What?
Physicians were summoned by the woman's children and relatives this afternoon, and at 5 o'clock, after she had suffered a paralytic stroke, she was pronounced dead.
Oh my God.
Ice was packed about her body and candles were lighted. Neighbors who came in to console the woman's children were standing about the coffin when the body stirred. Mrs. Semps sat up and asked for a drink. Physicians said she would recover.
Love.
She said,
good for her.
I'm feeling stiff and now I need a stiff one.
Yeah.
We love her.
Love her. Good for her. She said, you're not fucking taking me down just yet.
You're not done with me yet. Well, no, I loved it because I'm like, usually I feel like that happens. Like, well, not usually, but when that has happened in the past, I feel like they usually die right afterwards or whatever. But you know, she said, give me a drink, honey.
She's a survivor.
She is a survivor. All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to hear what had Madison spinning in her coffin this week.
All righty.
We'll be right back. And we're back. What had you spinning in your coffin this week?
All right, Geoffs. My coffin spinner actually ties in some dumbass criminals.
Ooh.
I know, but also Halloween, spooky season, and the Victorian era. So what could be better?
What could be better? What more could we ask for?
Exactly. Today, I'm diving into the world of ghost hoaxers.
Ooh, okay. I feel like we've dabbled in this a little. Remember that lady who would, like, do the fucking seances?
Oh, yeah. God. Ghost hoaxers were this very weird but equally amazing phenomenon where people pretended to be ghosts, but like to terrorize communities.
Love. Bring it back.
Bring it back. It also wasn't just all for pranks. Like, it was about power and perversion. Like, it was just wild. I'll get into some of the infamous cases. They span across England, Australia, America, and everywhere in between. I'm actually so excited about this episode. And also, like, when we talk about the Victorians, we've talked about literally everything. We've talked about spirit photography and, like, hoaxing that way, but this is a whole different ball game, okay?
I love it.
So let's start with probably the OG of ghost hoaxers, someone called Spring-Heeled Jack.
Okay.
Okay, he is the most infamous. We now know him by this name, but this was after the media during that time named him this. So I'll be calling him that, but at the time people didn't have a name for him yet. So
Anon.
Exactly. So let's go to London in 1837 in our mind, okay? We are walking along the street one dark, foggy night, and suddenly a fire-breathing figure with red eyes leaps out of the shadows at us.
Oh, no.
I would lose my shit today, and I can't even imagine the panic that it caused back then. You know?
Yeah.
So the ghost or the ghost hoaxer would knock on doors, then pounce on his unsuspecting victims. Some people also reported even being slashed by him because he had metal claws.
Oh.
And the press would call him a monster in human form. And honestly, for good reason. He was a fucking asshole. Spring-heeled Jack basically weaponized being a ghost to terrorize women for the most part. He was a fucking menace and an awful person. But word got out in the 1800s about this ghost, and I guess major panic ensued. I guess the Lord Mayor of London even got involved. And he read a letter aloud from a concerned citizen. Like, I guess he got a shit ton of letters about this ghost. Like, these are real documented things. So he read this letter aloud from a concerned citizen who I guess suspected that it was a gang of wealthy, like, jerks who were behind all this, and that they would dress as ghosts or bears or even the devil and terrorize everybody in town.
Damn.
I just imagine a bunch of fucking Victorian men.
No,
like,
little menaces.
just going out to cause mass hysteria. It's nuts. But the first documented attack from Spring-heeled Jack was in 1837. There was this girl named Mary, and she was walking to work, and out of nowhere, this scary fucking figure came out of nowhere, grabbed her, kissed her, and ripped her clothes with metal claws.
Oh shit, you can't do that.
Can't do that.
It's one thing, like, I love the idea of being a menace and just scaring people as a ghost.
Right, but you'll hear more stories and you'll see, like, oh, this has really real repercussions and
problematic poltergeist.
Exactly. You can't touch people.
No.
Okay. But apparently she reported that his skin felt like a corpse's skin, like kind of clammy and cold.
It's giving dead.
It's giving dead. She screamed, obviously, and off Spring-heeled Jack went. He was like, I'm fucking out of here. There's also a story that the day after that, he tried, this is not funny, but it is funny to think about. He tried attacking another victim and he jumped in front of a moving carriage. Which then lost all control, veered off the road and crashed, and Spring-heeled Jack was reported to jump a 9-foot wall and was laughing the whole time while running away.
You're not gonna believe this. You're not. Imagine dealing with your 1800s ass insurance company. Like, listen, he jumped 9 feet, bitch.
9 feet. A little ghoul. But maybe the most infamous encounter, this is wild, the one that like really made him famous was with a woman named Jane Alsop. So this happened in February of 1838. Jane is at home with her family and there's a knock at the door. And the man outside says that he's a police officer and that they've caught Spring-heeled Jack outside of her house. So he's like, bring a light, come and look at this. So she goes and grabs a candle, follows him outside. But then she realizes that this man is not a cop and he's wearing a cloak. And
not a cloak.
A cloak, girl. Suddenly, he throws off his cloak and reveals an insane outfit. He's wearing a tight-ass onesie, a helmet, and he has glowing eyes. And to top it off, he spits blue flames into her face.
God, literally my type. Oh, my God. Literally my type.
And then he tries to grab her and he rips her dress with his metal claws. That's where you lose us.
Yeah, it's like we're with you to a certain point.
I know. Jack. So then Jane's sister runs out screaming and off he fucking runs, probably laughing. A few weeks later, another woman named Lucy Scales was walking, and guess who comes out of nowhere and fucking blasts her in the face with blue and white flames?
Girl,
You
I've
guessed
been
it.
blasted in the face before, but never with blue and white flames.
I know. God, me too. The tabloids obviously ate all of this up, and Spring-Heeled Jack became kind of like an urban legend. And even the Penny Dreadfuls wrote about him. And the Penny Dreadfuls, if you don't know, are like these little, it's like little literature that were produced around the time.
Yeah.
Like almost comics, but like terrifying stories. I read that Sweeney Todd was one of them, which I didn't know.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
But The Guardian wrote an article about ghost hoaxer, about Penny Dreadfuls, and they called them, quote, the Victorian equivalent of video games, which I love.
Fun.
But the whole time I was reading these stories, I was like, okay, they must have caught the guy. But nope, they never formally did, but there were suspects. There was this one guy named Marcus or Marquise of Waterford, and I guess he was like this Victorian trust fund menace, basically, and he had a reputation for just getting hammered and vandalizing the towns for fun. And the press called him mad, and so people suspected that it had to be him, or that he at least inspired the ghost hoaxing, but no one was formally arrested. But I have a screenshot of this newspaper article. I found in the Madaland Mercury from 1887, they have an article about Spring-Heeled Jack, and in it they say, it has never been ascertained who carried out the extraordinary series of freaks, or, to speak the truth, something much worse than freaks, that the title of our subject will bring to the recollection of people a little past middle age. But they were very generally, though without any proof, attributed to the Marquis of Waterford. So everybody thinks it's this guy, but we don't have any official arrests.
Shit.
I know.
Who is Spring-Heeled Jack?
Who is he? Okay, we also have, well, you know what? Actually, let's fly over to Australia like we're ghosts, okay?
Okay.
We don't really talk about Australia during the Victorian era that much, I feel like.
Yeah, we try not to.
Yeah, you know.
Not our thing.
No, we're gonna want to, because ghost hoaxing was a full fucking blown phenomenon there.
Love. I feel like Australians are wild.
They're awesome.
I love them. Awesome Aussies.
Awesome Aussies. Yeah, it was like a phenomenon there. We're talking glowing armor, sheeted figures that threatened decapitation. It was insanity. So one of the first infamous ghost hoaxers there was known as the Wizard of Bombardier. So, and this is in the 1880s in Ballarat, Victoria, which was like an old gold rush town in Australia. There were a ton of just bored young men, a lot of alcohol, no streetlights, and a little bit of spiritualism. So perfect ingredients for something fucking weird. So enter a man dressed in a flowing white robe and a wizard hat.
Not a wizard.
And you know what he does?
What?
His MO, he screams like a banshee at people and throws rocks at them.
Oh, that one pisses me off.
Okay, people were pissed. People were absolutely pissed. They would try to catch him, and they even carried shotguns and shit, but he was so fast. And he had like a little wizard hat, which I think is wild. But there were ghost hoaxing blew the fuck up around that time, and there were sightings of people in white sheets or people painted head to toe in glow-in-the-dark paint, because that was kind of a new thing. One man had a full suit of armor that had painted on it, "Prepare to meet thy doom," and he threatened to decapitate people. Like these are just like little, like imagine walking your dog or something and this fucking thing runs out.
Oh, I'd be pissed.
It seems insane, but also kind of fun. I don't know. But newspapers at the time like reported rewards offered and angry local people started to arm themselves and would go ghost hunting, but he always managed to slip away and never caught him. But my absolute favorite ghost hoaxer ever, who actually was caught, is this guy named Herbert Patrick McLennan.
Okay.
And we're still in Australia. It's a little later, though. It's the turn of the 20th century. But the ghost hoaxing is still happening. But one guy is getting a lot of attention, and nobody knew who he was yet. So they just called him the Ghost, and he was a ghost hoaxer.
Okay.
He would wear a white bodysuit, a long cloak, knee-high rubber boots, and a slouchy little hat. Sometimes he would wear a mask, and sometimes he would even have a whip. And sometimes he was glowing because of glow-in-the-dark paint. So,
damn.
But locals...
Glow-in-the-dark boy, we love.
I know. But like I said, locals were referring to him as the Ghost. And for weeks... he would go out into town. He would lurk in alleyways. He would terrorize women. He'd hide behind trees. He'd chase people. He was a total menace. This is wild, though. The police in that area were already pretty overwhelmed as it was, and the community was just outraged about all of this. But this doesn't make the ghost hoaxer retreat. This makes him escalate. And he literally writes a fucking letter to the mayor saying that if anybody tries to catch him, he will put a bullet in them. And then he signed it, the Ghost.
Oh.
He's going full blown. So he literally sent a written murder threat to the mayor, pretending that he was a fucking ghost. So now police really get involved, and they decide that the only way that they're going to get him is if they dress in drag and set him up.
Oh,
so
good plan.
A good plan. These Victorian police officers, and they're all men, are in full corsets, bonnets, purses, like the whole shebang, and they're walking around at night, and it works. The Ghost thinks that he's going to terrorize women. Instead, he's apprehended by police officers. They unmask him. And to their surprise, he isn't some rich young prankster. He's a very well-respected bank clerk. He is articulate. He's well-dressed. He's active in the community. And his name is Herbert Patrick McLennan. And the community is fucking shook. He was charged with indecent exposure and assault, declared a rogue and a vagabond, and sentenced to a year in jail. But he later appealed, and he weaseled his way out early. But his reputation was obviously
tarnished.
Kind of tarnished. I also found an article of his arrest from 1904, The Express. It says the impersonator arrested, and it just goes into how he was, called the Ghost, and they had to dress up as females. It says the police, disguised as females, have been out nightly in search of the alleged offender, and they got him.
So what I'm hearing is drag queens arrested a ghost.
And I love that.
We love it.
Hell yeah. Okay, but before I go, I want to take us way back to 1803. And there we have this Hammersmith ghost. This happened in 1803 in a little village just outside of London. The people in Hammersmith kept seeing this little ghostly figure, a man in white haunting the churchyard, chasing people, popping out of shadows, and just being a menace. And the town started spiraling. So naturally, the men of the village formed vigilante ghost patrols. But one night in January of 1804, this guy named Francis Smith goes out ghost hunting with a loaded shotgun. And he's on edge. He's walking past the graveyard in the fog when he sees a white figure coming towards him. And he yells a few times, and he gets no response. So he shoots, kills the guy, and guess what? It wasn't a ghost. It was actually a bricklayer named Thomas Millwood, who was just walking home from work, and his uniform was like a white linen uniform that he wore every day. Francis Smith just killed a guy for being at the wrong place, dressed in the wrong outfit, and they put him on trial for murder. Smith claimed he genuinely thought that it was a ghost, And the jury was like, well, can we just get him for manslaughter then? But the judge said, no, if you think you're shooting a ghost, but you're actually shooting a guy, you're still shooting a guy. So Smith is convicted of murder and sentenced to death. That sentence got commuted to 1 year of hard labor. But the Hammersmith ghost case kind of stuck around. It became like a weird legal precedent in England about whether a mistaken belief could justify deadly force, and it can't, obviously. But I guess years later, some guy came forward and admitted that yes, he had been dressing as a ghost to scare people just for fun. So the ghost was real, but also it was an asshole. It was not a real ghost. It was a person.
A dumbass.
A dumbass.
Oh my God, I love it. Love a ghost hoax, girly. Thank you.
You know what? I was like, this is like one of my favorite quotes is, it's not the dead you should fear, it's the living. And I truly stand by that because none of these ghosts were dead people, okay?
That's what the Am I the Asshole should have said.
Yes.
About having the haunted place. You shouldn't be scared of the dead.
Truly.
All right. Well, we're going to take one more quick break. And when we come back, I'll tell you what had me spinning in my coffin this week.
Alrighty.
We'll be right back.
And we're back. Spencer, what had you spinning in your coffin?
Well, Madison Geoffs, I'm so excited for my coffin spinner today because we're going on a journey. I learned all about the lore behind what's called Hayden's skull.
Okay.
And you're probably wondering who the hell is Hayden. So I'm going to tell you, this feels like the place to do that.
You know what? I think so.
I think it's that time. So Franz Joseph Haydn was a very famous composer from Austria, and he is sometimes referred to as the father of the symphony, which is...
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay. Sing one of his songs.
Franz.
No, the story is actually really cool because it's kind of like a rags to riches story. He grew up in a very working class family, very humble beginnings. Like they were eating scraps. He had, patched together clothes. The struggle was real, and both of his parents were illiterate. Neither of them could read, but his dad possessed some talent. So his father, Matthias, was a wheelwright, which is basically somebody who repaired wooden wheels at the time. So kind of like, I feel like a back then mechanic almost.
Yeah, I feel like important at the time.
Yeah, but still very working class. And his mother, Maria, worked as a cook in the palace rather, of Count Harrach. And it was actually through his father that Franz learned about music. So his dad was a folk musician and he played the harp. So he'd play the harp and he would sing. So he kind of grew up in this musical household. And Franz was sort of a savant. It was very apparent from a young age that he just had this knack for playing instruments, and it was highly unusual for somebody of his age to have the skills he possessed.
Okay.
In fact, he was showing so much skill that when he was just 6 years old, a relative of theirs named Johann Matthias Frank was like, hey, that kid's got a lot of talent. Yeah, he's got it. He's got the it factor, baby. Mm-hmm. You should let him come over to my house and I'm going to train him as a musician. And so Matthias and Maria were like, oh, wow, that sounds wonderful. And they literally just shipped their 6-year-old child off and he never lived under the same roof as them again. Which,
oh my God.
I thought was like wild to imagine.
I know.
The first Am I the Asshole, that dad would have loved it. He'd been like, 6 years, you're out of the house? Perfect.
Hell yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, they had spares. I read they had like 12 children in total. Like Franz was one of 12. So
yeah,
you don't even notice at that point.
Right.
Side note, do you remember those kid geniuses? I was thinking about this when I was writing about him that would go on Oprah. They were like 11 graduating Harvard.
Yes.
I remember watching those as a kid and being like, yeah, that's probably going to be me. I'm probably going to...
You thought?
Oh my God, I thought, girl. I was like, yeah, probably going to go to Stanford when I hit those double digits, girl.
Okay.
It's gonna happen for me.
And did you?
It did. It happened.
Oh,
yes.
You did skip high school a little bit.
I did skip it altogether. Anyway, so yeah, sending your kid off to live with a distant relative at 6 years old might feel like a little random, but this relative was in the industry. He was a schoolmaster and choir master who didn't live too far away. He was only like a town over. But while living here, Franz mastered the harp, he learned the violin, and he got to sing at a level that he had never reached prior. Like, he really fine-tuned his skills here.
Wow.
And then one day, his music reaches the ears of George Rutter, who was the director of music at St. Stephen's Cathedral in Vienna. And he was actively recruiting new choir boys. And so he tells Franz to audition to join the boys' choir. He does, and he ends up moving to Vienna to join the choir. And this is all happening while he's like a little kid.
Wow.
As he got into his preteens, though, his voice obviously started to change. Like, have you ever heard rumors of, like, castrations in order to keep their vocals high? Things like that. Well, they didn't do that. He just couldn't sing the high parts anymore. And he started to rebel over the next couple of years. He once cut the pigtail off of a fellow chorister who made fun of him for not being able to hit the right notes anymore.
Oh my God.
And Franz was only about 17 when he got kicked out of the St. Stephen's Cathedral Choir.
You know who could have hit the high notes?
Me?
No, you can hit those low notes, but Charlie Hunnam.
Mother. So after he gets kicked out of the school, I mean, he's this kid. He's spent his whole entire life singing and studying music, and he didn't really have anywhere to go. He didn't really have a job. Totally. He had no money, no roof, no backup plan. He was literally just couch hopping and teaching violin or teaching vocal lessons in exchange for food. And once was quoted as saying he lived on a few crusts of bread during that time.
Oh my God. Terrible.
Yeah, it's giving me last week eating those Trader Joe's Uncrustables. That was the only thing I'd eat.
You didn't even have crust.
I didn't even have crust, Franz. Try being me for a day. Anyway, so he's basically like squatting different places, starving. People are letting him sleep on their couch or in their extra rooms. And he starts self-teaching composition by studying a bunch of different famous scores by like Bach and experimenting with his own pieces as well. And he even started giving music lessons to keep himself afloat during this time. And eventually he lands a gig as an accompanist and valet to Nicola Porpora, who was this old, very grumpy Italian composer. He made Franz like run different errands for him, clean his wigs, because everyone's wearing fucking wigs
I
there,
forgot about that. I love that.
But he also learned a lot about composition and Italian-style music while working with him. And Franz later said that Porpora was his real education in the art of music. And it kind of fine-tuned him even more. Like, he had learned so much about music up until this point, and then after this, it was like, okay, I have my style. I know what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. So in the 1750s, Franz starts working freelance. He's writing music for other like noble households, they said, so like wealthy families, which I'm like, that would have been crazy to be rich back in the day. Imagine having just like an orchestra in your house.
Oh my God,
people
I know.
Just going off. And around 1757, when he's 25, he gets his first stable job as Kapellmeister, which translates to music director.
Cool.
For a man named Count Morzen, which basically meant that he ran a small orchestra. And that's where he started cranking out symphonies. And his first symphony is likely thought to have been written during that time. But then the count that he was working for, Count Morzen, ran into money trouble and he had to let go of all of his musicians. But this ended up being a really good thing. This is like the epitome of one door closes, another door opens, because Franz gets a call that defines his career. You're going to Hollywood, babe. He got the golden buzzer.
Ticket, yeah.
Not really, but he did land a pretty sweet gig that would forever change the course of his life. In 1761, he joined the service of Prince Paul Anton Esterhazy and later worked for his brother Prince Nikolaus Esterhazy, and they were like the wealthiest family in Austria at the time. They were like the who's who. They had fucking palaces, theaters, orchestras galore. Franz suddenly had all of the resources, musicians, and stability that he had been searching for kind of his whole life.
Okay.
And so for the next 30 years, he worked for them, and he was like the hot composer. He was writing symphonies, string quartets, operas, church music, and the Esterhazys just loved him. So they provided him with housing, a really good salary, and gave him total creative freedom. And this is also where he started developing his signature sense of humor in music, which I love. There's a song called Surprise Symphony where he adds a sudden loud chord that would like wake up the audience if any of them had fallen asleep.
Cool.
Or in the Farewell Symphony, the musicians all leave the stage slowly one by one until only 2 violinists are left on the stage. So it's kind of like a little bit that he would do. He just like loved a stage act. And I'm like, R.I.P. Franz, he would have loved pyrotechnics. He would have been all about just the showbiz side of
he
things.
would have. He would have been like our Liberace.
Yeah. So by the 1790s, he is a household name across Europe. He's friends with people like Mozart, and he even taught Beethoven for a while.
Wow.
And then after Prince Nicholas died, Franz was kind of free from his court obligations working for them, and he started to take up all of these different offers, essentially going on tour. People really loved him in London, so he spent a lot of time there working on the London symphonies, which was like the peak of his fame. There was like these massive orchestras that he was leading. He was packing concert halls, just like a rock star, making a shit ton of money, and he earned the nickname Papa Hayden.
Papa Hayden, honey.
Hayden. By 1803, he was facing all sorts of issues. I mean, he's 71 at this point. Okay. And it was just time for him to slow down. I know it feels like we fast forwarded, but lest we forget, he worked for that family for 30 years. So
71 is old for that time.
I mean, yeah, for like to be doing the kind of strenuous work that he was doing, he was still like trying to compose concerts, but slowly he obviously started having to pull back because of his age. Honestly, though, this is kind of where he entered the most chaotic era of his life. It was his final moments on Earth. So in 1808, he's pretty much retired. He's still playing on occasion. But in 1809, the French army, led by Napoleon, attacks Vienna, and they actually hit his neighborhood. And I think his house was shot like 4 different times. There's a bunch of wild story. I mean, there was so much shit happening at that time. Just fucking madness. But on May 26th of 1809, he did an event. He played his popular hit, The Emperor's Hymn, and he had so much energy that night that he actually played it 3 times before collapsing.
Oh, what a crazy menace.
And then at 12:40 a.m., he passed away at 77 years old.
Oh.
But this is where it gets wild. So they hold like a small funeral for him. It's very simple, and they laid him to rest. Well, cut to a decade later, in 1820, Prince Esterhazy, who was one of the surviving Esterhazys, requested that Franz was exhumed from his grave that he had been buried in Gubendorf, and was like, I want you to bring him to our royal family plot in Eisenstadt. They wanted him to have like a proper like marble burial and just like give him the whole shebang. So they go, they exhume his body, and his body is there, but girl, no head, all wig. All wig.
They left the wig?
It's just severed head and then the wig.
No.
Or no, the severed head's not there. Just body and wig.
Body and wig.
Body and wig, girl. It turns out that 2 of Franz's quote-unquote friends, Joseph Karl Rosenbaum and Johann Nepomuk Peter, were obsessed with phrenology, which at the time was all the fucking rage.
Yeah.
And if you forgot, it's the pseudoscience where they would like feel around your head, see what bumps were there because they thought it determined your personality. And I guess like the area where in phrenology they said like musical abilities were, I guess his was very like profound. I don't fucking know. None of it was real though, so
yeah.
Who knows? But anyway, those 2 guys, after Franz was initially buried, they bribed the gravedigger to allow them to take his body, and they stole his head so that they could study the skull of a genius.
Oh my God, but they like severed it?
Yeah, they cut off his head, they took it home, they bleached it, polished it, and then displayed it and would like let friends come see it. And his skull sat in this like velvet lined box with a magnifying glass basically, so that dinner guests could admire its exceptional cranial features.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, his body's just fucking headless
Yeah.
over there. So when this Prince Nicholas II, ordered his body to be exhumed to be reburied in their graveyard, the gravediggers start to freak out, right? Because they're like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Fuck.
They want to exhume him. So
and they have new teeth and Botox
Yeah.
and everything. They're like, they're going to know.
So Rosenbaum and Peter slipped them a random skull to stick in the coffin. And they're like, no one's going to fucking know. But everybody already knew. The rumor mill went wild. Everyone in Vienna knew that Papa Hayden's real head was like in this private collection with the wealthy people.
Yeah.
And Joseph Rosenbaum even kept it on display as a conversation piece. And I guess at one point I read that there was like an investigation that happened, and I'm pretty sure it was the Rosenbaum guy. They went to go see if the skull was at his house, and his wife had like hidden the skull inside of a bed and laid on top of it. And when they came to like see it, she's like, I'm having menstrual problems.
Oh!
And so they left.
They're like, fuck that.
It wasn't until 1954 when his head was returned to the Bergkirche in Eisenstadt and buried with the rest of his body. But here's the kicker. The fake skull that was left in his coffin back in 1820, they left it in there. So today, inside of his beautiful marble tomb, there are two skulls.
Wow.
One fake, one famously stolen, both in that grave with Papa Hayden.
Was it a fake skull, or was it just somebody else's skull?
I read differing reports. Some say that it was like a literal fake skull, like it was one that had been made, but I feel like that would have been too elaborate at the time. I feel like they probably just popped someone else's skull off in the cemetery, like, here, take this one.
Fuck.
I know.
That's crazy.
But you know what? Papa Hayden loved a gag. He loved a finale. And I feel like even in death, he gets to have this like incredible story.
Yeah, I'm like sitting here thinking, I'm like, God, that's so terrible. Like, I would be so upset if somebody did that to me or my family. But then I was thinking, I'm like, wait a minute, I get to be the main character at dinner parties, and people are rubbing my head, and
because
okay.
I'm such a genius. Are you kidding me? I'd be like,
I would be like, do it. You know what? I'm not mad.
I love a dinner party.
God, me too.
All right. Well, let's move on to some obituaries. Who you got this week?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have a woman named Nancy Drew.
Girl, we know her.
This isn't her. This isn't who you think it is, but I loved this. It's very short and sweet. Nancy Christine Drew, 68, daughter of Doris and Lyle Drew, passed away peacefully in the care of her daughter on December 6, 2018. She left behind a family she loved, and then it goes into all of her family members she left behind. Her hobbies included crossword puzzles and reading, especially Lee Child books. Nancy loved her cats. She enjoyed spending time fishing and the beautiful lake views, as well as the Northwoods and traveling there. In the past, she was a cosmetologist for work, and her favorite client was Ed Gein at Mendota Mental Hospital.
Oh my God.
She lived a simple and sometimes hard life, but was always very compassionate and giving to all others. She loved to have a fun life. She will genuinely never be forgotten for all she has done for everybody. Isn't that crazy?
Love that. Love a Ed Gein connection.
Well, and I was thinking, and I like looked up the mental hospital he was in, and sure enough, it's that one. But also, she was a cosmetologist, so I'm like, would she go and just do his makeup or sell him makeup?
Probably his hair.
Did he have hair at the time? Yeah, I guess. Oh, I was thinking makeup. I was totally thinking makeup.
Oh, hair, probably.
Oh, well, there you have it.
But we love it regardless.
Yeah.
I have a sweet one as well. This one is for Stanley Trail. And this was sent in to us by a Geoff named Jen. And it says, Stan Trail, a.k.a. Stanley M. Trail. after a not particularly courageous battle with old age, lost that struggle and died at Oak Crest Retirement Center in DeKalb, Illinois on September 13th, 2025. The third of three sons of working immigrant parents, C. Archie and Alma M. Trail. He was born at home in Bristol, Connecticut on March 19th, 1930. He attended public schools in Bristol and Sandusky, Ohio, and graduated from Sandusky High School in the top 90% of his class in June of 1947. At the age of 20, he received the Bachelor of Arts degree from Bowling Green State University with a major in mathematics and minors in English and psychology. In the late winter of 1950 to 1951, he entered the Army of the United States. He successfully completed the Army's basic and then its advanced infantry training programs at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. Although not in the infantry very long, he was a quick learner when it came to the trooper lexicon and remained fluent with it throughout his life. In 1953, he separated from the Army in Chicago, where he had been with the Office of the Commandment at 5th Army. I almost said Fifth Harmony.
Remember them?
Yeah, at 5th Army headquarters. After his separation, he was a laborer in factories and in the home construction and road building industries in Connecticut and Ohio. He returned to Bowling Green for a Bachelor of Science in Education and then taught mathematics in the Cleveland public schools. He went from there to the graduate school at the University of Connecticut, from which he received a Master of Arts in June of 1955. He continued at UConn as a full-time student until 1957, when the funding support provided him by the federal government was exhausted. He then took a position at Rhode Island College of Education as an assistant professor of mathematics. In June of 1961, he received the Doctor of Philosophy degree, PhD, from UConn, and in the summer of 1962 attended a National Science Foundation Summer Institute for College Mathematics teachers at Oklahoma State University. He remained there as a part-time instructor in mathematics and a part-time statistics graduate student. In June of 1967, he graduated from OSU with a PhD in mathematical statistics. That fall, he joined the mathematics department, later the Department of Mathematical Sciences at Northern Illinois University, and helped in the founding of the department's statistic division. He retired from NIU in June of 1995. In December of 1966, he and B. Ann Catlin Davis, a very long time after they first met, were married in Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Stan and Anne came to DeKalb with their 3 daughters in August of 1967 and had great lives there until death did them part. At times, he was a member of the Institute of Mathematical Statistics, the American Statistical Association, the American Psychological Association, the American Educational Research Association, and the Mathematical Association of America. He was a supporter of the Westminster Presbyterian Church of DeKalb and enjoyed skiing and racquetball when he was able. He was almost always comfortable with small children and animals. He was an M1 sharpshooter and later a pacifist. Although he was somewhat slight in stature, no one ever stole his lunch money. No one ever kicked sand in his face. He was of Scottish descent. He did not really know what an app was, and sometimes he did not completely understand a New Yorker cartoon. He was not particularly timid when faced with risky situations, and then it lists his preceded and survivors. And
I love that.
It was his wish in lieu of flowers, friends, and family, and everybody else, perform an extra deliberate and unselfish act of kindness, favoring a known or unknown, deserving or undeserving person of their choice. Perhaps a florist. And then it just has his celebration of life information in there, but I loved him.
Oh, that was a good one.
Lots of accomplishments. I'm like,
I know.
girl, I can't even read everything he accomplished.
I know.
Let alone.
He sounded like a very good guy, though.
Intelligent, yeah. Super sweet guy, it seems.
Oh,
so thanks for sending that in, Jen.
Thanks, Jen. Should we get into some not so nice guys?
Let's do it. We have spun in our coffins.
We have bitched our obituaries.
It means it's time for some dumb
ass criminals. Okay, I have a not so nice lady. Actually, ladies. I was looking at dumbass criminals, and this specific type There are hundreds of stories. I'll get into it, but this is from CBSNews.com. This is from 2015. It says, a woman wearing a fake mustache robbed a bank Wednesday afternoon on the West Side Austin neighborhood. The woman walked into the U.S. Bank branch at 6700 West North Avenue about 1:50 p.m. and handed the teller a note demanding money, according to Chicago police and the FBI. She implied she had a weapon, but did not show one, police said. The teller complied and the woman ran off with an undisclosed amount of cash. Okay, and they're still looking for this woman. And if you try to find, if you just Google woman robs bank in mustache, there are hundreds of different stories and they never get caught. I'm telling you. And
it's a common thing.
Yes, and the pictures are hilarious.
What?
Some of them are drawn on. Some of them have full-blown mustaches. Like,
should we do it?
I mean,
girl, I would love to rob a bank at least once in my life.
Oh my God! Like, everybody get down!
Everybody on the fucking floor, I said.
Like Point Break.
But I would do Ed Gein voice. Everybody get down. Even though that wasn't Ed Gein's voice at all.
I know.
I don't know why Charlie Hunnam did that, but anyway.
I like it.
I have a dumb criminal that was sent in to us that said, hey, girlies, I found this chilly story on Facebook today. And then they sent a link to the article. She's like, but I like the Facebook version much better. Love you, girlies, from Kels. And Kels, I have something to tell you after this. But this was posted by a reporter named Nate Eaton. And he said, a Dairy Queen blizzard played an unexpected starring role in ending an armed standoff in Pullman, Washington.
Okay.
Ooh, I forgot to say, quote, don't see me, quote. Police say 40-year-old Elijah Reagan was taken into custody on October 5th after 4 tense hours that began when he allegedly fired a mortar-style firework into the ceiling of his apartment, sparking a blaze that damaged 8 units and forced dozens of residents to evacuate.
Oh, fuck.
So he's starting with a firework. He's starting off with a bang.
Yeah.
Following the fire, Reagan reportedly led officers on a high-speed chase before his vehicle was stopped with a spike strip on U.S. Highway 195. Armed with a shotgun and surrounded by armored vehicles, Reagan refused to surrender unless police met one unusual demand, a Dairy Queen blizzard.
Okay. I get it.
Mr. Reagan requested a meal from Dairy Queen as a condition to surrender, a Pullman police commander said in court documents. Officers obliged, ordering a blizzard and a hamburger, which they delivered to Reagan's car using a tactical robot. Shortly after receiving the frozen treat, Reagan surrendered peacefully and was booked into jail on felony arson and eluding charges and remains held on $250,000 bond.
Oh my God. I would do that. And I'd be like, I need you to get me a pack of cigarettes, ranch water.
The best cigarette of your life.
Oh my God, I know.
Court records do not specify what blizzard proved persuasive, but whatever it was, it helped bring a volatile standoff to a cool conclusion. Thank you so much for sending that in, Kels.
That was
incredible.
It.
But Nate Eaton, the reporter whose page posted that, Nate Eaton is the reporter from Idaho, I believe. He did all the coverage of the Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell saga. He did so much reporting on it. He was like the most famous involved guy in that. He did tons of interviews. He's an incredible reporter. So he's one of my like idols in that realm.
Oh, cool.
So I was like loving that was coming from his page.
Hell yeah. That's so cool. Cool connection.
Cool connection. Well, don't forget, you guys, to join our book club at patreon.com/cultleader. We post other stuff on there, but I think primarily right now, especially with the holidays and all the wackiness, we are focusing on the book club. And I think we're both actually really having fun with it because, girls, we need to read more.
Mm-hmm.
We need to read more. But that is it for the week. We'll be back next week with some more coffin spinners.
And obituaries.
And dumb
ass criminals.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.